What is going on, everyone? My name's Boit, and I'm back with some more Age of Mythology, the Titans action, spawning in the top of the map in the red color, playing as Kronos. His name is Ulysses. His opponent today in the blue color, playing as Hades. His name is Nullus. The map is Midgard. And what are we seeing here? This is some weird god choices for this map, I'm not gonna lie. This is some weird god choices for this map. Firstly, we see Hades. Hades, in my opinion, on Midgard is the worst of the three Greek gods. For two simple facts. The first fact is no access to Dionysus. And what does no access to Dionysus mean? It means no access to Skyla, no access to Thracian horse Hippikon. The other thing is that Hades, as opposed to like Zeus, doesn't necessarily have a very strong early mythic age. And what I mean by that is that Zeus has got access to Lightning Storm, as we do see the deconstruction coming down over here. Thank you for the subscription, Clay HK. Thanks for coming and saying hi. Appreciate it, my friend. So, no access to Hera. He does have access to Artemis, so Artemis is also fairly decent, but Hera is much better at closing out some of these games. So that's why I'm not really that big of a fan of Hades in this matchup. On the other side of the map here, we do see Kronos. And while people might say, well, Kronos is good because you get to deconstruct that dock, you get to put some early pressure onto your opponent, that's really good. But on Midgard, it doesn't matter. The early pressure, I would never recommend early pressure in this game on the water. I don't think it's a good idea. I think that defending it is really, really easy. And if you go for any sort of fast advance here as Kronos, you're going to be having a really hard game. The thing that Kronos does have is Kronos does have access to Behemoth and access to a Vortex kind of play, or Implode. Implode is really good here. So like Behemoth and Implode kind of ideas to kind of destroy a town center when your opponent's fighting hard on the water is a good idea. But that being said, I think Gaia is better here, and I think Uranus is better here, if you want to pick an Atlantean. I don't think Kronos is the best god on this map by any stretch of the imagination, especially because no access to Tartarian Gate, which is a big, big plus here for the Atlantean side of things. Anyways, so, yeah. But anyways, on top of that, I also think that Norse is good here, and I also think that Egyptian is good here. I think that every civilization, has got a good chance on this map if you want to pick the right civilization, that is. Yeah. Anyways, we'll see how things are going to go. Hades versus Kronos. The one thing that Nullus does have for him here is that he's playing his main god. And the one thing that Ulysses has here is he's a very, very strong Atlantean player. So they're both on a strength pick, to say the very least, as we do see that Ulysses now is going to be going up through Prometheus. He's getting himself his fishing ships coming out. When you go for a 4:30 advance time, my advice is to put one citizen onto this wood line here, not onto the gold, and you continue to get docks up, and you continue to spam fishing ships out here so that you don't fall behind. Because look at the difference in fishing ships. It's very, very similar here at this point for the Hades player versus the Kronos player. So you're not going to be behind by going for a 4:30 if you just keep building fishing ships. As we do see the dock up. But if you get all these villages on gold, then you're not actually able to afford all the fishing ships coming out. And in reality, you only want one villager on gold anyways to afford the one Barim you want to be training at 4:30 with the fishing ships out of the other two docks to get yourself up to 15 fish. And then after that, you're good to go. As we do see more fish coming out here for Ulysses. He's actually stopped at 9. Which is an interesting decision, as we do see the Valor coming through onto this position with the Oracles. They're going to be able to come in and take down a house, take down a dock. We see another dock coming down here for Nullus, and this is exactly what I say. When you're playing against... This is why Kronos is not that good here. And any civilization can do this, mind you. Whenever you see Kronos on this map, you just say, no worries. Just going to build a ton of docks. Easy. As we see this dock coming up, I wouldn't be surprised to see Ulysses throwing another dock down here as well. He doesn't need to save the wood. He does only have himself 13 fish. This is a very, very bizarre map here for Hades, or for just anyone, for Midgard players. You can see that the 15th fishing spots are over here. We do see some fish over here as well for Ulysses that he probably could be using here as the Bareem starting to fly forward. Athena on the way here for Nullus. He's about to hit that one. A little bit late, but it is a 5-14 attempt as this dock. I mean, even if it goes down, it's not the biggest of deals here for Nullus. He's got so many docks here on the water. As the fish are going to be getting pulled back here for Nullus, and he's going to start his Bareems up here. And Ulysses here is just trying to find a little bit of an advantage here, sitting slightly out of position here. Just checking if those fishing ships come back out. So the trireme are starting to come through here. Now we see the Ajax coming through. Do we see a Chiron out? Looks like no Chiron just yet, as the Minotaur comes through to get some damage done. Wouldn't mind just seeing a trireme on this position to just defend here, but it looks like the Minotaur will get taken down. But I think Nullus doesn't particularly mind here. No micro really there because he's too busy focusing on this as one fishing ship almost goes down. The Bareem going to be retreating back from both locations there. As the final Promethean will get taken down here. There's not really a whole lot left here for Ulysses, as it looks like the Ajax is actually able to win this fight quite considerably. I mean, had Nullus focused this down, he probably would have been able to win this fight, but did not focus it down too well, as the trireme going to come over here and clean up the remainder of these oracles here. As we do see them retreating back. The trireme might get taken down here, but he's got the fishing ships to defend over on that position there. As we do see this dock does get deconstructed, and Ulysses finds that advantage nicely, but Nullus has got plenty of triremes over here to defend. There's more Bareems coming through. Still no, what do you call it? Still no buildings up in the main base here for Ulysses. As Nullus here getting his Ajax out again. He can get a Chiron through at some point here as well to defend. The Bareem's on this position. I mean, there's just not that much left. Sitting underneath this dock fire as well. Does so much damage here as the fishing ship's popping out for whichever reason. He could push over here and take those oracles down very simply, but not going for it just yet, as Nullus has managed to hold on what seems to be both sides here. As Nullus pulls the Bareem back in onto this position, takes the fight over here as well, deals with those Bareem so easily with the docks. This dock is now on 80 HP. Nullus, if he pays attention, he can save the dock here. And he does indeed come through here. The dock will be at 5 HP. No, it falls, as both of the oracles will end up falling there as well. But meanwhile, on this position, Nullus, he's able to hold... Like, Bareems just aren't that good. In all honesty, as we do see the restoration coming down, the Bareem's going to be retreating back here. It's 9 Bareems here for Ulysses to 8 triremes for Nullus, which basically means Nullus wins this so long as he micros it even just a little bit, as Nullus not paying attention there, pulls forward. Now he starts the fight again, and now he has to pull back as he loses so much DPS there that Ulysses' Bareems actually get the advantage. It looks like over on this position, Nullus does manage to snipe that other Bareem down. And Ulysses still trying to push forward, still trying to find some sort of an advantage here. But in all honesty, he's going to have to figure out a different way to play here. Now, the general rule here is getting to the heroic age is really useful, but potentially in this situation for Ulysses, given how many Bareems have been, or triremes have been created here by Nullus, there might be a world where Ulysses can move into a classical age transition here onto land rather than going to the heroic age and spending all those resources. And he can continue building these Bareems, continue to force Nullus to train trireme here and force Nullus to stay in the classical age, which then means he may be able to get a gold staff on this gold mine or on this gold mine. But it's going to be tough to get both of those, especially with this town center being able to be grabbed here by Nullus as well. That's the Bareem getting pushed back. The other option here is Ulysses can go to the heroic age through Hyperion, get access to get access to Chaos. Chaos hits 3 triremes, which is actually a really big deal. and you get access to Nereid, which is a really, really strong fishing ship raiding unit. It one-hits fishing ships with its special ability. You can effectively just move forward and do that. Now we see the Ajax pushing forward. We still don't have any defense here for Ulysses. One thing that Kronos players do have over Uranos players on water is that they can build valid oracles, and they are completely fine to use over a Mamilo. You valor the 3 oracles. You don't have to build a military academy or anything like that, and you're completely fine to utilize those as well. So now Nullus is still trying to micro this one as best as he can against Ulysses, who's trying to pull back his boats here. Effectively, if I know my opponent is watching the ships, it's almost better to not micro, it's almost better to not pull back micro my ships, because I know that my opponent is going to be completely fine here. So really, you want to be microing when your opponent's not watching. Seems to be the best play in today's era of the skill level that players have got with their boats. When I say not micro, I mean not pull back your ships. You want to be focused fire microing, obviously. See Ajax getting pulled back here for some reason. That Oracle is very scary on this position. Nullus still pushing forward here. We do see him on a second gold mine over here as well, as an armory going to be coming down. Nullus has got himself 13 fishing ships. We do see a nice cheeky raid here from Ulysses Bareem over there. As right now, there's more Trireme than Bareem, so Nullus gets all the advantages here. We see there's only 200 gold left here, so I mean, I still think that Ulysses could have stopped production of Bareem here, or at least put effort into building some barracks up in the middle of the map. Now we're starting to see hoplites moving forward here for Nullus, as he's ready to start putting some pressure onto this gold mine. And Nullus is now going to be doing what I thought Ulysses should have been doing. And he's also going to be winning the water behind it all. So we'll see what Ulysses can do here after all is said and done. The other thing here is Ulysses still hasn't gotten his fishing ships out onto that location or got purse scene. Nullus does have purse scene here, so not only is he 4 ships in front, but he's also purse scene in front in terms of food income. So he's got a lot more income than Ulysses does, but now Ulysses is grabbing his own purse scene after all is said and done. That is a beautiful way to build buildings. I have never seen that. I'm going to steal this. Nana counter barracks, military barracks is enough to block your citizens in. That's so beautiful by Ulysses. How good is that building positioning? Is it just me? I think it's just me. Let me see villagers moving forward. Going to be Nullus, the king of sneaking gold mines. Why not move on to this gold mine at the very start of the game? Like, if sneaking gold mines against a player who is trying to gold starve you is good, then surely if you're not trying to get gold starved, then sneaking gold mines is also good. Because it means your opponent's not going to be able to raid you, because they wouldn't have done that otherwise. Right? Maybe. I don't know. So we see the Valor coming through there for Ulysses. Is going to be attempting to hold this position as more units going to be moving in for Nullus. Nullus at this point has got so many triremes that he's probably not going to be able to win this position. Ulysses is getting himself his second town center up already, and his third town center is surely going to be able to get completed here as the units are going to come out very, very fast. Ulysses does have to be careful with these Terma. This is one thing that I think that Atlantean players don't do very well, which is run away from those hoplites with the Terma. Make sure that your Terma are never sitting there firing against enemy hoplites in a fight, because they just do so much damage. But the Terma have got enough speed to retreat, so it's definitely something they could consider doing. As the town center is about up for Ulysses. Nullus is getting himself his second town center here as well, and his third town center to boot, plus going through to the heroic age through Aphrodite. So he's got all the advantages here. As the trireme push in here, Ulysses with his Bareem here. I honestly think that a better option here, instead of taking this fight underneath the docks here, and we are seeing Ulysses do this now, is you just retreat and move around and start raiding the fishing ship. Just take the losses on your own fish and put the pressure onto your opponent's fish as well until he starts defending. Because you can't win the fight against the Greek Navy. So you just have to continue to put pressure onto your opponent rather than taking the pressure yourself. As the town center is now up on this position, which will allow Nullus security of this gold mine. He's also over here on this gold mine as well. As another dock going to come up, and we're going to be seeing Nullus grabbing even more fish for himself here as well. Love that play. I wouldn't mind seeing another dock get placed over here as well for Nullus at some point here, as the trireme still chasing everything around here. Ulysses should be popping his fishing ships back out here if he can. As the heroic age now through for Nullus, he's going to be able to curse this army. He's got 3 town centers apiece. He's got 13 fishing ship, 52 villages, 23 citizen for Ulysses, plus 10 fishing ships as well. As Nullus is now putting pressure onto all of the fish of Ulysses, as Ulysses now putting the pressure onto Nullus' fishing ships. And this is kind of how I expect to see a Midgard game going, where it's not really about, you're not really trying to win the water. You're just trying to put pressure onto your opponent's fishing ships for the entirety of the game. You don't need to defend your fish either. You just garrison them. So we do see the Promethean taking down that Nemean line incredibly fast there. Nice play from Ulysses to recognize he's able to do that. As Rheia now the god of choice for Ulysses. A bit surprised to see the Rheia, but we'll see how it's going to go. As the Bream taking out the fishing ship on this point, but Nullus is fast reacting to that one there. And the thing is, you have to be on top of this. You got to push through with the Bream. You got to hit the fishing ship. You need to move to the next fishing ship as soon as the fishing ship retreat away. Consistently checking there, but there's just so. This is what makes Midgard kind of the highest skill matchup in the game. Is the fact that you've got to be able to control the raids on your archer ships while controlling the army as well. There's just a lot more going on in this position here. There's now the Promethean trying to take out the hoplites and everything else on this position, but Ulysses has to pull back. He's getting himself copper shields, bow sword, medium infantry. He needs to start thinking about getting himself a ton more military barracks to start making Arcus here. And also the destroyers are going to be very, very valuable as well, as the Breams are just going to be moving around this position. We do see that, I mean, Ulysses here, he just needs another dock over here as well to start playing this nicely. We do see some docks over here to continue the raids onto this position. The fact that Ulysses has decided to go through Rheia instead of through Hyperion means he doesn't get that Nereid, which is so helpful in this kind of raidy warfare. As you do see a palace coming down on this position to defend this location a little bit easier. We've got Arcus coming out here as well. There's just not enough buildings here for Ulysses on this position, as he's only got, what, 4 military buildings here to produce. And Nullus knows this. Nullus knows that the town center is really not that much of a threat here. He's able to sit underneath Ulysses' position here, getting so much damage done. As the Bream still pushing forward, still trying to get value onto these fishing ships, but Ulysses is under pressure himself on the water here. As the Behemoth does get taken down, Nullus still sitting at full population, even though the units seem to be falling here. The palace is up as destroyers are going to start coming through here. Copper weapons and carpenters coming through for Ulysses as well, as he's trying to spend all the resources he possibly can. Now we see archery rangers coming in. And here's another big problem for Ulysses. His town center is behind a forest here, which means if Nullus wants, he can set up a fortress here, he can set up some walls here, and he can start sieging this town center down with Petropolis really, really early here in this game. But now Ulysses getting pushed back yet again. 132 of 145 population, still trying to get these raids onto the fishing ships throughout this game. But Nullus is playing super well. He's just defending. He garrisons the fish, no problems. Meme upgrade coming through for those playing at home. The Horns of Consecration, plus 11% gather rate on your favor with 200 gold. If you have 3 town centers getting favor at 5.4 favor a second, it basically equals 1 extra favor a minute, which is nothing, right? It's less than the relic, whatever it's called. I can't remember the name of the relic off the top of my head, but it's less than the relic that gives you extra favor. Maybe someone in chat can tell me. As Nullus is still pushing forward here, still trading nicely even underneath this town center. As the Arc is now starting to come out, the destroyers will start turning the tides here as more military buildings coming down for Ulysses. But Ulysses just doesn't even have the economy to help out here. More ships looking around here for raids onto the fishing ships, but Nullus is playing it beautifully. He's actually able to take out some of Ulysses' fishing ships here, as Ulysses not able to hold on and do everything here either, as the fishing ships just simply coming back into the dock here. And Nullus here, he's just got so... Ankavra is the relic's name, exactly. Artemis now on the way here for Nullus. An Earthquake is going to be such a game-changing god power here. Mail of Orichalcos coming through for Ulysses to help the survivability of those Arcus against the Hoplites. As Heavy Archers and Plow coming through as well for Ulysses, as he's now able to start holding this town center, but with Nullus going Mythic Age. Nullus is now getting himself the 18-minute pickaxe. Classic water matchup problems there. As the Arcus pushing forward now, those destroyers are going to be very strong, but we do have Hephaestus coming out here to get crazy amounts of damage done onto this. Nice play from Ulysses. Whenever you're in these positions here with the Toxotes targeting the medium destroyers, the Hephaestus targeting them, you just pull the destroyers back and then you push them forward, exactly how Ulysses is doing here, to make those Toxotes do nothing, to allow your Heavy Arcus to actually get some good damage done. Fortified Town Centers coming through for Nullus. We see Fortified Town Centers coming through for Ulysses as well, but it looks like the... Wait, no, he's not getting Fortified Town Centers? I thought Ulysses was getting that. Looks like he's going for the Mythic Age here instead. As the Ford Palace coming down over here, barracks coming down onto the top side of the map as well, as we're starting to see some raids coming in onto Ulysses. Gold mine over here as a market going to be coming up as well there. Nice micro there from Ulysses yet again to make this happen. It looks like he's given up on the water raids for a little bit here. One of the big weaknesses of Atlanteans is that their melee ships aren't very good. And generally speaking, in the Heroic Age, when you want to go for raids, you use, as we do see the Earthquake getting dropped down here, you use siege ships to make it work. Not siege ships, hammer ships to make it work, but Atlantean doesn't have access to it, which is why I suggest to make the Nereids of Hyperion to get those raids in, because they basically kill off fishing ships faster than a hammer ship would anyways. But going through Rheia, you don't have access to that. But you do have access to a trader, so this means, will we see the Nemean Lion coming through, or did we see the Nemean Lion get deleted here? I don't see it anywhere, so it looks like Nullus has smartly deleted his Nemean Lion. Not his Nemean Lion, his Chimera. As the town center is getting shot back up. And it looks like it will end up being pushed up. It's Atlas coming through for Ulysses to try and pick off an army of the Nullus, of Nullus here, to try and keep himself alive in this one, as we do see the palace is up on this position. Destroyers coming out of this location here as well. I mean, Ulysses is kind of stuck in the Heroic... Well, he's not stuck in the Heroic Age. He's going to the Mythic Age. What am I talking about? He just doesn't have the resources here to continue fighting. He also doesn't have fortified town centers here as a Heliopolis coming through to try and take out the town center. I'm surprised to see Nullus not just going straight in for walls and trying to make a Petropolis here to take out the town center, but here's what it is. As the Hoplites pushing forward to continue tanking tanking damage here, as we do see the Heliopolis getting traded there. Nice play from Ulysses. Unfortunately, we're not going to be able to see the garrison shenanigans with Vortex here. When you trade a Heliopolis or a siege tower as Kronos or as Kronos, you can pop Citizen into your Heliopolis to make a move forward. So you do see the implode coming through. It's going to take all of those units into it and pick them all off and give Ulysses a little bit of reprieve here in this game. As it kind of looks like Ulysses' fishing ships have kind of been dealt with over here as well. As boom! Big explosion. The Heliopolis will survive, but everything else will be falling here. Come to think of it, if you garrison your units into the Heliopolis, do they get sucked out of the Heliopolis? Is this the counter to implode? Something to test for afterwards. If you garrison units inside of the Heliopolis, do they get pulled out of the Heliopolis, or are they getting sucked in and survive? Chrono JJ says, I think they do. Just like buildings. But maybe they don't. You never know. Ensemble Studios has been known for their spaghetti code. Time and time again. As the heavy Arcus getting some good damage done on the back here. And where we have the Argus coming in here to start getting some good damage done. Palace coming down on this position. Villagers trying to get up a fortress over here. As the Palace will come up first here, it seems, for Ulysses. But Nullus' fortress looks like it'll come up here as well. Very, very fast as the Citizen pull off of this location. Going to start shanking down the Heliopolis here. As the fortress is up with half HP. Villagers going to be shanking down the Palace on this location as well. As Nullus is still just pushing forward. We see some... we see a rare behemoth making its way over here to potentially try and take out the fortress here. As the Citizen are getting taken down, we see villagers coming forward over here as well for Nullus as Ulysses. He's trying to get the gold staff at 20 minutes into the game. There is a gold mine on the front here, though. Nullus does not need to put all the effort into getting this gold mine, but he is going to be trying to as the Palace going down. Citizen going down here as well as Ulysses drops down to 18 Citizen here as the Behemoth going to come through. That will be able to take down this fortress here. Even with Mace, it's such a brutal unit to take down buildings with. As a Chiron is in, but that's not going to be enough. As Ulysses is able to hold this position thus far, but he will need to start his villages yet again as the Destroyer is popping out of here. Going to be able to take down these villages not too fast because they only deal 6.5 damage a second, but he will be pushing those ones back for the time being here. As Nullus now has this gold mine. He's lost his fortress. He's getting pushed back. Ulysses looks like he's in a decent position here as Nullus is losing his grips on this position. Those Arcus are very, very strong here. But Nullus has actually got himself 16 Donkey Caravans. And they don't have coinage here, but 16 Donkey Caravans on Midgard. Donkey Caravans, not the most useful thing in the world, but they are pretty good. Definitely going to help him stay alive here. Generally speaking, in my experience, trading on Midgard, starting a trade route on Midgard is something you want to leave until your last gold mine is up, and then you want to spam it out as fast as you can with like 3 markets or 4 markets. But because it's just not that strong with only like a 37 gold trade route, it's not the best. So you kind of want to wait on it, if that makes any sense. But with Nullus here kind of having some struggles to get gold, we do see a storehouse coming up. The military barracks is already over there for Ulysses as he's controlling that nicely. Do see the heavy Arcus. They're still doing some nice damage over here as the Destroyer. We've been saying this. This is how Atlantean needs to play against Hades. Destroyer, Arcus for days. The counter to this army is Mass Hippocon. If you can make or Mass Heliopoli are another option. But Mass Hippocon here to just run through this army with, obviously you need your upgrades and everything else, but without that, these Toxotes, they simply put, they don't do any damage to the Destroyers. And the Arcus, while they have less damage per second by a slight amount, seemingly it looks like Nullus doesn't have any armory upgrades here. While they have less damage per second, it doesn't matter because the Toxotes of Nullus, they don't do anything because they're consistently targeting down Destroyers. As we do see, Ulysses has traded another Heliopolis on this position to take out the fortress here. Meanwhile, villagers getting pushed back on this position here as well. As we do see some Arcus coming over here to take down some of Nullus's villagers here. Nice raid coming through. Both players still sitting at full population though. As we do see a Chimera coming in. This is going to be a big help here because I think all the traders are done. No, there's one trader remaining here. As Ulysses getting up a palace on this front here, trying to secure this gold mine as well for himself. The Citizen, they're just continuously getting sniped down here. As a Chimera, it's a really nice option here for Nullus to push forward because it does a lot of damage to these Arcus because they've only got themselves 72 HP. The special ability of a Chimera is doing, what is that? It does a lot of damage. I know it does a lot of damage. 28 hack with 3 fire streams. I'm not sure exactly what that means, but it's an area of effect damage of 28 hack, which basically almost kills... if you have two special attacks onto a ball of heavy Arcus, that almost kills every single heavy Arcus there. We'll see it here. Boom, look at the damage. Almost half HP. Over half HP's them. So you do see the Behemoth coming through onto this position. More Citizen getting taken out here. So the Chimera does three invisible attacks, or 3 attacks with an AoE range of 5. So if you get hit in the middle, you could potentially get hit for 60 damage. Is that right? Maybe they don't overlap. The range doesn't overlap the AoE, I guess. I don't know. Nullus going to be able to get himself up the fortress on this position as well, as the Heliopoli just sitting here doing their thing. But it does look like Ulysses trying to put some pressure onto this position as well, splitting up his army. Nullus has got a trade route here. He's got plenty of gold income. He's also got this gold mine over here that is saved for ages. As the Heliopoli here now starting to get some good damage. One thing that you can do here with the Toxotes to help out a bit if you're worried, you can garrison them into the Heliopoli here. And now your Heliopoli, not only do they do more damage, but also your Toxotes don't get taken out. So you can pop them in and out if you want to do some extra micro here to cause some problems. As you do see the Behemoth almost gets taken out over there. The Chiron on this position is going to be killed as well. As the Arcus going to push through, trying to take everything else out as well. Bronze Mail coming through for Nullus here. After all is said and done, villagers now coming up to this top gold mine as they finish up on this position here as well. Nullus still sitting at full population, and we have seen that not much is left happening. This Trireme has been targeting down this military barracks for the past... Let's do some quick math here. 1500 HP, 3 damage per second. 500 seconds, roughly. This Trireme has had to have been sitting here for. Is that math pretty good? That was some quick math. I don't know if that's actually right or not. 500 seconds. As the Heliopoli now pushing back in onto this town center. This is one of the problems that of the Arcus Destroyer Ball, is that it doesn't have an answer to Heliopolis. So what you can do here, if you get enough fortresses out, as we see a couple are out here, but he's only building, basically stop building the Toxotes and just build Heliopolis. Then you win this fight really, really hard here. As look at this, like these Arcus, they don't kill anything. Now, Ulysses needs to stop building heavy Arcus here and start making Fanatics or making Fire Siphon here. Chrono JJ with the comment that Nullus' population is filled with inefficient caravans and fishing ships. These fishing ships with Salt M4 are more efficient than a farm at full upgrades. These ones are inefficient. They're moving a little bit too far. These ones are inefficient, but not all of his fishing ships are inefficient here. As long as they're relatively close to the dock, they gather faster than a farmer. At a certain point, they stop being, obviously. I don't know exactly what the range is, how much travel time it matters before it starts being inefficient, but definitely if they're close enough, then it's good enough. But yeah, I would put a dock down here to make these close enough. And we are seeing that Nullus is now deciding, as we start talking about it, he deletes those fishing ships, and he does it actually kind of perfectly. Just the far fishing ships he deletes. Big brain. Engineers coming through as a final trader coming through now onto the Heliopolis. Means no more traders remaining, no more god powers remaining in the game. As the fortress coming down on this position, we will be seeing the hoplites taking down the destroyers here. As more Heliopoli are pushing out here for Nullus. And what really, I mean, Nullus here is struggling for resources a little bit here, but what really can Ulysses do if he continues to just make these Arcus? He needs to make a, we are also, I love this. Ajax getting garrisoned here, gets an extra 1 damage to garrison. Or it's actually not extra 1 damage, it's an extra 4 damage. No, 3 damage, 6 damage. An extra 6 damage to garrison the Ajax into the Heliopolis. Very smart. As now Nullus is continuously, he's now actually trying to go mass Heliopolis here, which means the Arcus are just not going to work. But Ulysses does have plenty of palaces. 1 palace here, 1 palace. I tell a lie, he's only got 2 palaces. So he really needs a big difference here. As now Drathos is coming through for Nullus. He's ready to start pushing in to this position. If Nullus wants, he can garrison his units. He's making some Peltast. Every time with the Peltast. There's another Chimera going to come in and start getting some more damage done. And Ulysses, he just says, I can't deal with the Heliopolis. And he taps out. We are seeing the Argus getting some raids over here done, but this isn't game over. It's game over because Ulysses has not realized the counter to the Heliopoli is Fire Siphon. If you make Fire Siphon to deal with your Heliopoli, the opponent's Heliopoli, the game continues here and becomes a very, very strange game. But Ulysses manages, Nullus managed to get his Heliopoli out. He manages to grind Ulysses' Kronos down in this game, and he manages to find the win. Very, very competitive game here. Super well played by both players, but Nullus manages to inch his way to victory here in this game. If you guys enjoyed this one, please consider hitting the follow on the Twitch. If you're on the YouTube, hit that subscribe button, and I will see you guys in the next game.